What's up, internet? My name is Becky, and today I will be doing my July wrap-up. The majority of all the books that I ended up finishing in July was due to Booktubeathon, and I'm kind of happy that I ended up finishing 4 books. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first book I ended up finishing in the month of July was Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This story follows Simon, who ends up getting blackmailed by one of his classmates who finds out that he is actually gay. And it kind of just goes through this whole ordeal with Simon where he kind of accepts who he is, but he kind of wants to save it for himself because it's something that he wants to share with other people and not be forced into, if that makes sense. So it was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. So the next book I ended up finishing is technically a comic book, and that is Deadly Class Volume 4 by Rick Remender and Wes Craig. This book is kind of like the conclusion of everything of leading up to all their actions and everything. It's all the consequences of, well, their actions leading up to now, because I mean, if you go to assassin school and you have all these rules to help you survive and you don't follow them, something is gonna go down, and this kind of unfolds all the bad stuff in one go. And all I have to say is it was insane. I was not expecting none of it, but it was really, really good. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, mainly because I'm probably biased on that, just because I really, really enjoy Deadly Class. It is one of my favorite comic series thus far. The next book I ended up finishing is A Darker Shade of Magic by B.E. Schwab. I really enjoyed this book. I do have to admit it was kind of slow just because it was building up the world for you, and just a lot of things I had to stop because I didn't know certain words, so I couldn't visualize what something looked like, but otherwise it was great. It was awesome. I liked the adventure of it. I liked the magic of it, just the different realities. Can I call it different realities? I don't know. But yeah, it was really good. It follows Kel, who is this, I don't really want to call him a magician, but that's kind of how I see him as, where he has the abilities to control a lot of different elements, and one of his most, like, I guess, powerful go-to power is that he ends up traveling through these different parallel Londons. And because of his job, he ends up doing something that he's not supposed to, and that is he's kind of a smuggler. He ends up trading little trinkets from his magical world to the non-magical world, and what he gets back from smuggling magic from his world to the other worlds is that he gets little trinkets that are not made by magic, and he really enjoys that, until one day one of his sales kind of goes wrong and he ends up basically bringing something back into his world that shouldn't be there. I don't know. I'm trying not to spoil anything because it's kind of really weird. I know that sounds very vague. I'm sorry. I suck at summaries. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. The next book that I ended up reading is technically a comic book, and that is Deadly Class Volume 5, Carousel. This one follows their sophomore year because they just finished their freshman year and they are going into their sophomore year, and a lot of things changed, especially with the anarchy in the school of who is top dog now. And it was just insane, especially that last issue in that volume. I was not prepared for it. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to get my hands on volume 6. I know I could probably get like individual issues, but I'm just gonna hold out because I want the physical volume for, yeah. I'm gonna hold out until October. I'm so excited to find out what happened. But I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and obviously it's because I am obsessed with Deadly Class. The next book I ended up finishing is History Is All You Love Me by Silvera. This book made me cry. It made me emotional. I loved it just because of how it made me feel, and it was just a really interesting twist of a love story, and I kind of want more, but I'm gonna hold off on that. So this follows Griffin, who has to deal with the death of his ex-boyfriend slash one true love, Theo's death. And the sad thing about this whole situation is that Griffin believed him and Theo will end up getting back together, but then obviously that doesn't happen because Theo ends up dying, and Griffin kind of goes down this downward spiral because he doesn't know what to do. he's devastated, he's sad, and he wants to know what happened, why did it happen. And it's just really, really sad. And like I said, I really highly enjoyed it just because the raw emotions and like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it hits you. So the next 3 books I ended up finishing are actually short stories based off the Captive Prince trilogy by C.S. Pacat. Starting off with Green But for a Season by C.S. Pacat. This is sort of 2.5 short story because this is actually during the time of book 2. It follows Captain or Commander Jord, and we kind of see how much he appreciates being captain because he's like a loyal follower to Prince Laurent, and it just shows of his relationship with Laurent and how he is so happy that he gets to show his loyalty by being his captain, commander, or just like his protector sort of. And also the sort of love triangle that kind of, well, not really a love triangle, the love story that's in it as well, which I don't really want to spoil because I kind of feel like that's a spoiler if you have not read The Captive Prince whatsoever. But yes, there is a love thing going on, but mostly it's from Jord's point of view, how he became a loyal servant to Prince Laurent. Next short story I ended up finishing is The Summer Palace. This is an epilogue after the 3rd book of Captive Prince, and this is kind of more of where Laurent and Damien stand, and of what Damien is now and what Laurent will eventually be. And it's just a really kind of sweet little short thing of them expressing themselves and I guess sort of forgiving each other for certain things that ended up happening in the book series. Very vague, but once again, this is sort of a spoiler if you have not read the first 3 books. So the last short story I ended up finishing is The Adventures of Charles the Venetian Cloth Merchant, and I immensely appreciate this one because this follows Charles, who is sort of a minor character, but he plays a major part in book 2 because he helps out Prince Laurent and Prince Damien during a crisis, and he becomes friends with them. But the funny thing about this whole situation is that I didn't realize Charles still doesn't know who Damien was, because Damien was kind of like undercover because of Prince Laurent, and it was just really funny because I didn't realize that until I ended up reading this short story. And it kind of follows after the events of all 3 books, and it's a little more later in the timeline, sort of an epilogue but not really. And Charles ends up meeting Prince Laurent and Damien once again, and this time for different circumstances. And I really enjoyed it just because you get to see how Laurent and Damien interact with each other from someone else's point of view, and I like it because Charles enjoys it because of how sweet and how innocent the love is, and it's just a really lovely love story. So that is it for my July wrap-up, or should I say my Booktubeathon wrap-up, because these are mostly all the books I read during that time. I'm so proud of myself. I ended up reading 8 books, and if you want to see any of my progress or stuff like that, I ended up vlogging it so you could catch that as well. So yeah, that is it. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. If not, that's cool. I usually try to upload Monday, Wednesdays, or Fridays. So yeah, catch you later. Whoop, bam.